What's going on, you guys? So I'm here with a new video today. And today, you guys, my boy Ulises, he won his OTS qualifier again with another crazy rogue deck, because that's just always how he does things. You guys already know he's played Adignister. He's played a ton of crazy decks over the course of the time he's been playing, but over the course I've known him. And he won his OTS qualifier with Unchained. As you guys know, I always call it the Pennywise deck, that everyone floats, they all float deck. And this deck is just actually crazy. Like, looking at this on paper, I was like, yeah, I can see why he won. This deck is nuts. I think a lot of players, even to this day, do not know exactly what Unchaineds do. Like, when people tell me when people ask me what Unchaineds do, I tell them, well, they float, and they always float. Everyone floats. So yeah, it's pretty crazy. But as always, we're gonna go over his deck profile. I'm super happy for him winning his OTS qualifier. It was something unique. Like, that's what it is like in this format, the format's pretty open. I know a lot of players have been complaining about it. Feels like, you know, the same format, but there are a lot of decks you can have success with if you dedicate the time to it. But as always, if you guys are new here, because you're subscribing, hit that notification bell. You guys will be notified whenever I upload. If you want to support the channel, TCG player link is down in the description below if you're buying cards, as well as if you're shopping on ybm.com. Use the discount code SLIM5 and you'll save yourself 5%. As always, you guys, I'm going to go over his list. I just love it. Like, I honestly love it, because Unchained is just such a cool deck. It's a deck that always I try to include in, like, my top 5 rogue decks, or just rogue decks in general whenever I talk about them in a format, because I feel that in the hands of the proper pilot, the deck will have success. And that's what Ulises does. Like, he always goes in there playing something totally off the wall that no one understands, and then just has success with it because he dedicates the time to it, and I absolutely love it. So let's get into it, you guys. So for the Unchained Monsters, we got 2 copies of the Abominable Unchained Soul. So that's just 2 copies of that, along with the 3 copies of Ash Blossom. And this is where D-Shifter shines. This is one of the decks I feel that can completely just abuse the crap out of this card, because for people that don't know, these cards will literally float whether they go to the graveyard or not. And that was something I actually did not know at first. I thought that they always had to go to graveyard. Nope, as long as they leave the board. Like, so D-Shifter is crazy. As you guys know, going second, it literally just makes your opponent pass their turn, and it's just nuts. It gets the turn back to you, like as if you went first regardless. So the card is crazy. He plays only 1 copy of the Unchained Soul of Disaster. It's basically like the break, but you know, you got to play 1 copy. And then the main ones are your copies of the Unchained Twins Aruha, and then the Unchained Twins Rakia. I'm really bad with names, so don't penalize me in the comments for that. But then we got the 3 copies of the Unchained Twins Sarama. And that just rounds out the monsters. A very simple monster count. You know, it's just all the Unchained monsters you need, and just very impactful hand traps. Ash, again, being super generic, is just standard. Like I said, G-Shifter is just insane in this deck. It's the most impactful hand trap, and like I've said, like with decks like Guru and decks that can play G-Shifter, when you play a card like this, you're playing one of the best like blowout hand traps in the game that can just end the turn. And if a card can end your opponent's turn, like I don't think it gets better than that. For the spells, there's 3 copies of Abomination's Prison. That's just standard. Another Floodgate. He's playing D-Fissure. You guys can see, like, this deck can really get away with playing these insane blowout 1-ofs, and I think that's why this deck was doing so well, in addition to, you know, him piloting, is that you just have these really strong, powerful Floodgates that can just blow out your opponent. It reminds me of, like, with Pure Zoo, being able to play this, being able to play Macro, being able to just play all these powerful cards going first or going second, and you can just totally blow your opponent out. He opted for 3 copies of Extravagance. Now, most players would ask, you know, would you play Prosperity over it? I can guarantee in this deck you want the plus, you want to dig. Like, your extra deck is semi-important, but you can get away, you know, as you notice, he's maxing out on all the Unchained cards in the extra deck, so you can get away with playing extra. If you want that plus, you want to dig instead of, you know, digging for 6. Like, this way you're getting that plus, and I think that's what's more important in a deck like this. I know certain decks will opt for Prosperity, but I think in this deck, Extrav is definitely the way to go. So, and it also, if you are playing this deck and you are looking for a pot card, this is at least the better card to get, because at least it is cheaper if you are on a budget. And then just on to the traps, you got 3 copies of the Abominable Chamber of the Unchained. You got the 3 copies of Escape to the Unchained. That's just standard. You just play all of these. They're just nuts in this deck. You got the 1 of Macro and Skill J. Like I said, the Floodgates you can play in this deck are obnoxious and insane, and I love it, because this deck can just take full advantage of them, because you don't care about Skill J, and you definitely don't care about Macro, because you float under Macro and D-Fissure. So these cards literally just blow out every deck in the format, so it's fantastic. And then Triple Strike, just obviously the best trap of the format. Going good going first, good going second. It's fantastic. Triple Torrential. I mean, you float, so you float, your opponent doesn't float. You know, everybody hates this card when you're playing against Unchained, because they're getting pluses. You usually lose your whole board. This combo right here of Strike Torrential just breaks whole board, so it's crazy. And then this is the 1-up trap trick. It makes it so that all these traps are, you know, you just play like an extra copy. I really like that, and he kept it a clean 40. So very, very solid list. I love to see it. Onto his side deck, he just got 2 copies of Lancia. along with 1 Panker Tops and triple Droll. Just standard stuff for just depending on the matchups. Obviously Droll is for Drytron, but you have a lot of just blowout cards in the main deck that can handle Drytron. Just 2 copies of Dark Ruler to break any unbreakable boards, and then for back row removal we got the 1 copy of Harpy's Feather Duster and the triple Evenly match. I've been saying it before in a lot of profiles that are starting to play this card. This card is was so underrated you know, in previous formats. I think this card will continue to come back. It's so strong against not only Sky Strikers and other like back row decks, but you can just blow out boards with this and bait negates with it. So card's great, just clears what you need. Then the 1 of Order, just blow out against Striker and decks that need their spells. And just 2 copies of Judgment when you know you're going first. Just take out some you know, less effective cards, just put this in, and this can just be a blowout against anything. So lastly, we got the extra deck, just 1 copy of Dingirsu. You've got the 1 copy of Access Code Talker. You've got the 1 copy of Nightmare Phoenix, along with 2 copies of Unicorn. And then, like I said, he maxed out on the triple Unchained Abomination, the triple Unchained Soul of Anguish, and the triple copies of Unchained Soul of Rage. Obviously, you are playing extracts, so you want to keep these cards in the deck, but the fact that you can link like with your opponent's monsters is just crazy. Like, I think that's the thing people forget, is you literally just link with your opponent's monsters. Like, you just get past so many problematic cards with this, and I think that's what's insane about this deck. Again, in the hands of the right pilot, it finds a lot of success, and that's what these cards do. These cards are just great. So I highly suggest anyone that wants to try this deck, definitely try this build out. Like, this is, if I were to play the deck, this is where I would start, because I know Ulises is a great deck builder. He really knows what he's doing, and not only that, this deck just looks like insane. Like, Unchained like is just such a fun deck, and there are a lot of players that do want to find success with them. I think you definitely can if you know, you structure your deck like this and just, you know, account for what's at your locals or whatever tournament you're playing, and you'll definitely have success. The last card he has is the Underworld Goddess of the Closed World. It definitely can come up. Being able to use one of your opponent's monsters can definitely come up if they're, you know, trying to, if you know, they break a big board, you can just make this thing and it, you know, it'll just randomly come up. I don't know how many times it came up from, but it's definitely a really solid card to have in a deck like this. But that is the deck, you guys. Hopefully you guys did enjoy. Again, shout out to my boy Ulises. He played this OTS qualifier. He played it actually at YBM on our remote duel setups. I know you guys saw that when we played the remote duel YCS. So yeah, so shout out to Dio YBM for providing that. It's just a fantastic place to go, not only to play locals, but also if you're trying to do remotes, you can do them over there too. So you get to kill 2 birds with 1 stone. So I think it's fantastic. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about this deck. Unchained in 2021 in this format, in the hands of the right pilot, I think will definitely have success, and I'm excited to see what Ulises continues to bring to the table, because I know whenever he wins, it's with something unique, it's with something different, and I always look forward to it. But hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure to smash that like button. I'll see you guys next time. Thank you for watching. Thank you all for watching the video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and a special thanks to all my patrons. It's because of you, after all these years, I'm still able to make this type of content. Hopefully you guys will check out some of the videos that are suggested here for you, and just remember, you guys, it's not just a game, it's a lifestyle. Thanks for watching.